From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. Radio Pilipinas World Service can also be heard on shortwave broadcast through the shortwave facilities of the United States Agency for Global Media, or Voice of America, on the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.750 MHz, and 21.720 MHz. I'm your host, Leo Magpayo, and this is Dateline Malacañang. Paraguayan President Santiago Peña Palacios arrived in the Philippines on Sunday for a state visit at the invitation of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. President Peña landed at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, or NAIA, at 3:36 in the afternoon, arriving aboard China Airlines Flight CI-703 from Taipei. He was received by Trade and Industry Secretary Cristina Roque. On Monday, President Peña will be formally welcomed at Malacañang Palace, where he and President Marcos are set to hold a bilateral meeting. According to Malacañang, this visit marks the first presidential-level engagement between the Philippines and Paraguay since the establishment of diplomatic relations on December 12, 1962. The palace emphasized that the state visit underscores both nations' shared commitment to democracy, the rule of law, and international cooperation. Paraguay is rather regarded as an emerging partner of the Philippines in Latin America, with both countries aiming to expand engagement and diversify economic partnerships.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. announced Sunday that the fire at the Navotas Sanitary Landfill has been fully extinguished, following weeks of non-stop operations by government agencies and private partners. According to Malacañang, firefighters, local government units or LGUs, environmental teams, and several national agencies, including the Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH and the Department of Tourism or DOT, worked around the clock to contain the blaze. Major private sector partners such as San Miguel Corporation, Prime Infrastructure, and SM Prime also provided critical support. In a social media post, the president likewise thanked the Japanese government for extending technical assistance during the response. Despite the fire being put out, President Marcos ordered agencies to maintain 24/7 monitoring of the site. This includes air and water quality testing, thermal scanning to detect any remaining hotspots, and health surveillance for affected residents and responders. Initial reports indicate the fire was triggered by methane gas from decomposing waste that ignited after exposure to uncovered surfaces. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources earlier confirmed that the incident affected air quality across several cities, including Navotas, Valenzuela, Malabon, Caloocan, Quezon City, Mandaluyong, Makati, and Manila.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. paid tribute to Filipino mothers on Sunday, marking Mother's Day with a heartfelt message honoring their love, sacrifice, and enduring role as the backbone of families and communities across the country. In a social media post, the president described mothers as the ilaw ng tahanan, or in English, light of the home, whose care, patience, and unwavering devotion strengthen not only households but the nation itself. President Marcos extended his gratitude to all Filipino mothers, acknowledging the daily love they give their families and the quiet but powerful contributions they make to the country. In a separate message, the president also honored First Lady Luis Araneta Marcos, expressing appreciation for her devotion to their family. President Marcos said their sons could not have asked for a more loving mother, and he could not have asked for a better partner in life. The tribute was accompanied by a 41-second video montage featuring moments of the first family, underscoring the personal and intimate tone of the president's message as the nation celebrated Mother's Day.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines' hosting of the 48th ASEAN Summit successfully placed Cebu and the country firmly in the regional spotlight, according to the Association of Southeast Asian Nations National Organizing Council, or ASEAN NOC. In a statement Saturday, the NOC described the three-day summit as a powerful showcase of Filipino hospitality, bayanihan, and whole-of-nation coordination with events held across multiple cities in Cebu Province. ASEAN NOC Director General for Operations Helen De La Vega expressed gratitude to the agencies, partners, workers, volunteers, and the people of Cebu, whose efforts, she said, allowed the Philippines to present the best of the Filipino spirit to Southeast Asia and the international community. The NOC emphasized that the successful hosting demonstrated Cebu's capability to manage large-scale, high-level international engagements, proving its readiness not only to welcome Southeast Asia but to open its doors to the world. De La Vega also thanked residents of Cebu City, Lapu-Lapu City, Mandaue City, and Cordova for their patience, discipline, and support throughout the summit, noting that their cooperation enabled ASEAN delegates to experience the warmth and generosity Filipinos are known for. The NOC likewise acknowledged the contributions of Megaworld Corporation, the Mactan Newtown, hotel establishments, venue partners, accommodation providers, tourism stakeholders, and mobility partners that played key roles in the preparations. As the Philippines continues its ASEAN chairmanship through 2026, the NOC said the government moves forward with renewed determination, guided by the same spirit of solidarity that defined the Cebu Summit. The Office of the President led the planning and execution of the summit and related meetings, working closely with national agencies and partner sectors to ensure a smooth and secure hosting.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, has reaffirmed its united push to fast-track the region's transition toward carbon neutrality and sustainable economic growth by 2030. In the ASEAN Chair's statement released Saturday, leaders welcomed progress in implementing the ASEAN Regional Investment Action Plan 2025 to 2030, a framework designed to draw more foreign investment into green transition sectors and priority post-pandemic industries. These include carbon capture and storage, biofuels, medical devices, solar photovoltaic equipment, veterinary healthcare, and green and sustainable construction materials. The statement noted that the plan positions ASEAN as a single, attractive destination for sustainable investment while accelerating the region's shift to cleaner and more inclusive growth. ASEAN leaders also reaffirmed their commitment to advancing the ASEAN Plan of Action for Energy Cooperation 2026 to 2030, which aims to strengthen regional energy security and resilience. The plan highlights diversification of energy sources, expansion of renewable and emerging technologies, improved energy efficiency, and deeper cooperation in areas such as petroleum security, smart grid digitalization, and carbon capture, utilization, and storage, or CCUS. The bloc welcomed new aspirational 2030 targets, including 40% reduction in energy intensity from 2005 levels, 30% renewable energy share in total primary energy supply, and 45% renewable share in installed power capacity. These goals, the statement said, reflect ASEAN's collective resolve to build a more sustainable and competitive regional energy system. ASEAN also looks forward to the rollout of the ASEAN Strategy for Carbon Neutrality Work Plan, which will translate the region's carbon neutrality vision into concrete priorities, shared objectives, and coordinated actions to decarbonize regional value chains. The bloc emphasized the strategy's potential to drive sustainable, resilient growth and strengthen ASEAN's position as a prime destination for green investments. Leaders likewise acknowledged ongoing work to finalize the roadmap of the ASEAN Blue Economy Implementation Plan 2026 to 2030, which will guide practical, context-specific initiatives to advance the region's marine, coastal, and freshwater resources. The roadmap aims to strengthen ASEAN's physical, financial, human, social, and natural capital in support of a thriving blue economy. Member states also expressed optimism over the ASEAN Blue Carbon and Finance Profiling Project, which will map blue carbon assets and identify sustainable investment opportunities to further advance the region's blue economy agenda.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and Thai Prime Minister Anutin Charn Virakul have committed to deepening economic and bilateral cooperation between the Philippines and Thailand, following their meeting in Cebu on Saturday after the conclusion of the 48th Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN Leaders Summit and related meetings. According to the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO, the two leaders reaffirmed their shared resolve to further strengthen the long-standing partnership between Manila and Bangkok. They exchanged views on expanding high-level engagements, boosting trade and economic cooperation, enhancing people-to-people ties, and intensifying joint efforts to combat transnational crimes. President Marcos and Prime Minister Anutin also discussed regional and global developments of mutual concern, underscoring their commitment to ASEAN unity, regional peace, and stability. The meeting builds on earlier exchanges between the two leaders. In April, President Marcos congratulated Anutin on his re-election and expressed confidence that Philippine-Thailand cooperation would continue to grow, particularly in key sectors such as energy and food security. Diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Thailand date back to June 14, 1949, with both countries maintaining close collaboration in trade, security, tourism, and cultural exchanges. Thailand remains one of the Philippines' major trading partners in Southeast Asia, with both sides seeking to further expand investments and economic linkages. As this year's ASEAN chairperson, President Marcos reiterated his commitment to ensuring that the regional bloc remains a force for peace, growth, and opportunity for our peoples as the Philippines continues to lead ASEAN through 2026.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other developments, Department of Migrant Workers or DMW Secretary Hans Leo confirmed Sunday that all 38 Filipino crew members of the MV Hondius will undergo a mandatory 6-week or 40-day quarantine and monitoring period in the Netherlands. Kakdak said the measure follows strict international health and safety protocols after reports of a hantavirus outbreak on the Dutch-flagged vessel that earlier claimed the lives of 3 passengers. He made the announcement during a virtual press briefing on May 10th. The MV Hondius is a Polar Class 6 research and expedition vessel launched in 2019 and considered one of the most advanced ships in the tourism industry for ice navigation. Designed for scientific missions and extreme nature excursions, it can carry 196 passengers and 70 crew. The ship began its current voyage on April 1st, departing from Ushuaia, Argentina, for a specialized polar expedition across the South Atlantic, with scheduled stops in remote locations including the South Shetland Islands, South Georgia, Tristan da Cunha, and St. Helena. Kakdak said the Philippine government remains in close coordination with Dutch authorities and the ship's operators to ensure the safety and well-being of the Filipino crew throughout the quarantine period.
Upon arrival of the MV Hondius this morning local time in Tenerife, the Canary Islands. Upon arrival, we expect that there will be a repatriation flight that has been coordinated with the ship owner, the principal, based in the Netherlands, and the principal has arranged for a repatriation flight to the Netherlands for 24 of the 38 seafarers. Now, let me explain. Of the 38 seafarers, 24, kasi it's a cruise ship, no? So of the 38 seafarers, 24 are so-called stewards or hotel workers, and 14 are deck and engine crew, which means Filipino seafarers actually run the ship in terms of deck and engine operations. Are operating the transport side of the ship, the navigation side. But at the same time, there are 24 Filipino hotel workers. Now, for the repatriation to the Netherlands, the next 24 hours, today and tomorrow, there will be 24, 4 today and 10 tomorrow, seafarers who will be boarding repatriation flights for the Netherlands. So that's a total of 24, 4 today, 20 tomorrow. And there in the Netherlands, they will commence their quarantine, the quarantine period, which will run up to about 6 weeks. And then with the 24, for today, 20 tomorrow, set to be repatriated to the Netherlands, where they will be quarantined. There will be 14, the deck and engine crew, or a great bulk of the deck and engine crew, will set sail for the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, Netherlands, to bring the ship to port in Rotterdam, Netherlands. And upon arrival of the ship at port, the 14 crew will likewise commence their own quarantine, pursuant to the quarantine period of 6 weeks. Now, what happens after the 6-week quarantine period to the Netherlands is that all 38 Filipino crew will ultimately fly home to the Philippines.
Was Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Magpayo.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the House of Representatives is set for a historic vote on Monday to affirm the Justice Committee's finding of probable cause in the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. The vote follows weeks of hearings and documentary evidence and, if approved, will trigger the transmittal of 4 articles of impeachment to the Senate for trial. Justice Panel Chair Representative Gervil Luistro said the committee is ready to defend its findings before the plenary, noting the panel's unanimous 53-0 vote to impeach Duterte and its 55-0 approval of the committee report. Luistro said lawmakers should expect intense debate, but stressed the panel is prepared to answer questions on the proceedings and evidence. Under the Constitution, at least 106 votes, 1/3 of the 318-member chamber, are needed to send the articles of impeachment directly to the Senate. Voting will be done nominally, with each member publicly casting a yes or no vote. The plenary will deliberate on 4 consolidated articles covering alleged misuse of confidential funds under the Office of the Vice President or OVP and Department of Education or DepEd, including scrutiny of 612.5 million pesos in questioned spending and claims that 125 million pesos was used in under 24 hours. Alleged unexplained wealth, including Anti-Money Laundering Council or AMLAC flag transactions totaling 6.77 billion pesos linked to Duterte and her husband, Manasseh Carpio. Alleged bribery involving reported 50,000 pesos Hope envelopes given to DepEd officials, and Duterte's controversial 2024 remarks, where she claimed she arranged for the killing of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., the First Lady, and then Speaker Martin Romualdez should anything happen to her. Statements later authenticated by the National Bureau of Investigation. Luistro expressed hope the plenary will show the same unity demonstrated by the Justice Panel as the House prepares for Monday's crucial vote.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, Interior Secretary John Vic Rimulya announced Sunday that a subpoena will be issued Monday to Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa in connection with investigations into alleged extrajudicial killings or EJ case during the Duterte administration's drug war. Rimulya said he has directed Philippine National Police or PNP Chief General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. to mobilize the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group or CIDG, PNP Legal Service, and the Directorate for Investigation and Detection Management to carry out the order. He stressed the subpoena is not an arrest warrant, but a directive requiring De La Rosa to personally appear before the CIDG. Remulla also denied circulating claims that an Interpol red notice had been issued against the senator, calling the rumors baseless. However, he confirmed he has ordered the PNP to resume investigations into De La Rosa's actions during his tenure as Davao City Police Chief and Regional Director in Region 11. He said De La Rosa remains in the Philippines and police units in Davao have been alerted ahead of the subpoena's release. Remulla emphasized that De La Rosa will be treated with respect, noting his past roles as PNP Chief, Bureau of Corrections Director, and now a sitting senator. The renewed probe will cover all complaints and records tied to the drug war, including more than 6,000 deaths in police operations and allegations of vigilante-style killings. Nartate said the investigation will draw from the Quad Committee report of the House of Representatives and other documented cases of alleged abuses. Remulla said the process is essential to establishing accountability. Senator De La Rosa, the first PNP chief under former President Rodrigo Duterte, is among the officials linked to the International Criminal Court or ICC's probe into alleged crimes against humanity. He has not appeared in Senate sessions or public events since late 2025, following reports that the ICC had issued a warrant for his arrest.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service can be heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.750 MHz, and 21.720 MHz. Radyo Pilipinas World Service is also live on audio streaming. Just download Evox PBS Receiver on your Google Play Store or the App Store from your Apple phone. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Just type in and search for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.